Hi guys, welcome to another Brushmaster video. We're going to be painting all the little gold sections on the demon today. I'm going to paint this as an old looking gold, not a shiny bright orangey yellow gold. So let's get cracking. I've already based the gold parts in a brown and violet mix, which I'll talk about more later. But this first highlight layer I'm adding is chocolate brown and Japanese brown, both from AK Interactive. And what I'm doing with these first layers is I'm just trying to establish where the main line points are. I'm not focusing on blending or making it look pretty at the moment. I literally want to just establish where the brighter points are going to be on the gold, which I can then build up into a lighter highlight so that it looks slightly more reflective in those spots. We'll look at a bit of colour theory right now, guys, into painting any colour on a model really. As we can see with gold, it's predominantly a yellow colour, and we can see this at the top of our colour wheel. Now the absolute perfect complement to yellow is purple. So as I said earlier, for my base coat, I actually mixed a chocolate brown mix and added violet or purple into this tone, which creates a really nice rich purpley brown color. And when we build up the yellowy gold highlights on top, this really complements and contrasts well with the purpley undercolor. So we're adding another highlight now. And for this I've just used the same mix I had, and I've just added in even more Japanese brown. And I'm just going to paint smaller areas on the parts I've already highlighted. And I try to outline all the edges as best as I can. These parts are very small though on this model, so it's very hard to edge highlight some of them. They're at odd angles as well. And it's also important to remember where your light source is when you're painting anything on a model. And here I'm using a light source that is from the upper left. So I'm trying to focus the highlights as if the light is catching them from that angle. I'm adding another highlight on top of the previous ones, and this mix is almost pure Japanese brown now. We're getting quite a nice yellowy tone in the highlights, which really helps to sell the effect of being gold. And I'm not focusing too much on blending again at this stage. I find that this colour, the Japanese brown and the chocolate brown, tend to blend quite well together when I put them on a model. So I don't really have to blend or glaze too much with these colours. So at this stage I start to add more whiter colours into the mix to produce more of a shine, and I'm adding in Buff from AK Interactive here to lighten the tone of the highlights. Buff is a great colour for this. It's got yellow in it but also quite a bit of white, so it produces a more stark and brighter highlight in the areas where I'm trying to build up a little bit of shine. And as I said before, I'm not building up to white because for an old gold, I think it looks better if it doesn't quite go that far. It gives more of an ancient and worn look if it's kept to a bit more of a lower tonal value in the highlights. I'm adding in even more buff to the mix now, and this is just to try and build up a little bit more intensity in the lights and to enhance those bright spots a little bit more. Not quite there with the final highlights yet, but it's not far off. Final highlight now, and I'm adding in even more buff to the mix. This is very light, and I'm just trying to catch the upper edges and the tiny little shine spots that I have in parts of the model. This really helps to make the gold pop, and it adds that bit of extreme light where it's needed without overdoing it and making it to look too shiny. What I find at the end of this stage though is that some of the mid-tone and some of the shadow areas have got a bit lost, and I would like to see more contrast in parts of this gold. So in the next section I'm going to be trying to add a bit more depth and shadow to parts of the gold. I've mixed up some Chimera Violet with a couple of brushfuls of water here, which makes it quite thin and translucent. And I'm just pushing this colour into the shadow areas. So I'm loading my brush with paint, and then I'm wiping most of the excess off on a paper towel. And then I literally drag from the edge of the mid-tone into the darkest shadow areas. So most of the paint is deposited into the deepest shadow parts, and this is what helps build those shadows up to a nice vibrant colour. And here is the final result of today's painting. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.